TV here with Fit Bully TV people. Look, today we took a loss, man. We took a loss. Now, the upside is I educated and told my team what was going to happen before it happened. Unfortunately, I actually hate being right. I think people a lot of times presume that I love being correct, but I don't live there. I love making sense of things. So, to be clear, we had cleft palates, soft palates, and on both sides in one case. Matter of fact, as you'll see, keep watching this video because I'm going to cut to where the doctor breaks it down. She has never seen this many in a litter. It was 50-50. She said, I haven't even seen this many. Now, I told my team as we had trouble getting Maya pregnant the first time that this was going to be the dog I worry about the most. I knew what I was getting myself into, but I am disappointed. Only in the fact that I was right. And that, you know, there was a gorgeous black and tribe boy, and I mean, Lord have mercy, that boy was bad. He was probably the biggest, and again, he had 2 cleft palates, and what that means is she'll break down subjectively. The dog can't really nurse or feed, so you have to feed it every 2 hours, and then at 6 months you got to get surgery, and the surgeries don't start just with one surgery. It's one of those surgeries that continues to carry on, and the dog's quality of life becomes relatively difficult. So then the doctor asks you, what do you want to do? And then you have to make a difficult decision, because at this point it's not even about selling the dog. I could care less about that. I literally had a place to put every last one of these dogs because I believe in what I think I can pull from Maya. But one of the things the doctor said as well is I wouldn't use this sire again. I said, trust me. Hot Shot, shout out to Bougie Bulls, had nothing to do with this. I knew where she comes from, and no disrespect to those people who have more of an exotic style program. She looks nothing like her siblings. She's a good looking dog. I knew her issues, and I believed that I could add value. For those building a program, you're going to do selective breeding. And selective breeding, oftentimes when you're building your bloodline, is regardless. If every dog was healthy, I'm taking the top boy and the top girl, and I'm breeding from that. And I'm going to keep building. But also when you look at the laws of Mother Nature, if you would, natural selection, think about it like this. 3 of those dogs, if she had them in the wild, wouldn't have survived. They couldn't eat. They couldn't eat. They could not make it. And this is one of those theories, only the strong survive. In this case, we had to make a choice, but if it was left to God's will per se, and we had nothing to do with it, 3 of those dogs would not have made it anyway, because they cannot feed without assistance. And I'm not breeding to you know, no disrespect to people who are handicapped, to deal with dogs that have issues. It's not my thing. I got back in so I could solve some of the problems. So part of the losses when breeding is, for one, projecting the losses, which I've been talking about for a year or two, and have said many times in other video formats about Maya's challenges and my concerns and what we might be up against. And part of my, I don't lose, man. I really don't take too many L's. I don't even know how to deal with this, to be honest. It is rough. I get in this state and I want to be bothered because things go really, really right. Now, here's the upside. There's a story, right? And Ruben told it to me last night. And objectively, 2 kids get gifts. 1 kid gets half of what he asked for. The other kid gets a horse turd. He says, well, what are you so happy for? The kid who gets a horse turd, he said, because that means there's a horse around here somewhere. So life is about perspective and how you see it. At the end of the day, we do have 3 dogs that are alive, and we're going to do our best to keep them healthy and well. And again, the work really begins because this is a stepping stone for us. But I believed in what pulling some of Maya's genetics, you add by subtraction, we keep adding value to our program by taking what we need from her and moving on. She's not a dog that we will probably ever, I mean, she's not being bred again, point blank. This is her one and only litter, period. I'm not putting myself, the team, and even her through that stress anymore. 3 underdeveloped dogs, it's not okay. It's not okay. And this is the stuff that they won't tell you about, which is why I told the doctor, hey, we're going to record the majority of this. And use these opportunities to educate you. Breeding's not as fun as some people crack it up to be, and this ain't no social media thing. I really enjoy dogs and building dogs that can do stuff. Zara is my line of health. I will always keep a dog from Zara. I've proven it point blank. I knew what she was going to do. We watched her son do it. I know what I know what I'm doing here, people. It's just so sad that the dogs are in such a predicament that you almost can't save some of them. And I gotta find a way to fix even more things because this shit's happening, but people ain't talking about it. So somebody else would say, oh, we had 3 beautiful dogs. I'm telling you, we had 6, and we lost 3. And we didn't lose them because they died. The doctor said, did you want to wake it up? I said, no, just leave it be, because we know what the issue's going to be. And then she's about to go into and educate you about what potential risk and challenges come with that. So hopefully this helps you and your program and your dogs and betters whatever you're trying to do with your program and educates you. But that's what I'm here for, just to help and service. So people, T-Fit, Footbully TV, signing off for now. Good luck. Take care of your dogs and take care of yourself. I want you to explain the challenges with cleft palates. If that's okay.
Yeah, cleft lips and cleft palates, those puppies can't nurse. They can't latch on, and then they're going to aspirate. And the puppies with the cleft lip, they can't form a suction on the nipple. And now, they can sometimes, you can get them to the point where they can have surgery, but the problem is that they're at high risk of aspirating.
Even as adults?
Well, the cleft lips, no, but the cleft palate, yes. They have to have surgery at some point once you can get them to a size where they can, but it's getting them to that point. When you've got newborn puppies with a cleft palate, they're at risk not only of aspirating if they try to nurse, but if you tube feed them and then they regurgitate, they can aspirate it into their lungs. It's a higher risk. So getting to a point where they can have surgery can be challenging. And then the ones with the bilateral cleft lips, one on either side of their nose.
We had one that had that, right?
You have 2 that had that and 1 that had one side. So I don't know if you have this male, but I would not repeat this breeding. I don't know if it's the male or the female, but I would not.
It is definitely the female. She has more of a bulldog influence, unfortunately, and I've told them that for the past year, that I knew she was going to pose a problem, so this is her one and only litter.
Unfortunately, it can happen in lines. It's been a while since I've seen one with multiple puppies affected, but it's a hard part of breeding.
It is, and that's the part where I want to make sure those who are like, oh, I want to breed, I'm like, it's just not as pretty as these social medias making it out to be. They need to be educated as well. Mm-hmm. So cleft palate, is that the mouth, right?
The roof of the mouth.
The roof of the mouth. Jesus. And guys, one of my buddies has it, and he was going to get a dog to get the laser surgery because she had breathing issues. But then
that's a soft palate.
Oh yeah, soft palate. My bad. Yeah, but then he said he realized that could cause aspiration even in adults or something.
If you don't have them treated, the problem with that, these brachycephalic breeds, they can have the stenotic nares where their nose is very squished.
Yeah.
And an elongated soft palate, that's what makes them breathe so abnormally. When that goes untreated, those dogs can do a lot of vomiting and regurgitating. Sometimes aspirate, but not always. But they can then become very overheated very easily because dogs can't sweat to dissipate heat. They can't.
Yeah.
But the dogs that have the brachycephalic syndrome, which is the smushed face, the pinched nose, and the elongated soft palate, are at high risk for that. And that can be surgically corrected once they're 6-8 months old, to trim that soft palate to take that extra soft palate out. But the cleft palate's different. That's another congenital defect, but it's a split in the roof of the mouth.
And in congenital people can be passed along.
Yes.
That's the frightening part. You heard her say it first. It's not a breeding we were repeating, and trust me, it has nothing to do with Hotshot. He's a healthy dog. I knew that she was going to be problematic, and unfortunately, she proved me right. But we got 3 dogs. I see a kink in one of the tails.
Oh, really? I like the colors.
Yeah, they're pretty. They're pretty. They're pretty now. They are gorgeous. God, they're gorgeous.
What? You mad?
And then how much does the cleft palate surgery run typically if someone decided to keep a dog?
That I'm not sure. You would have to go to a boarded surgeon for that. I haven't had one actually get to the point where most people will elect to euthanize just because it does take a committed owner. Mm-hmm. The cleft lips can be fixed easier. That may be $600-800 a cleft palate because those may require multiple surgeries. You could be looking at several thousand.
Right.
We had 3 dogs that had cleft palates.
You could grab a stethoscope.